Yeah, I'm thinking we're back. Piracy has once again been a huge talking point in the global conversation. There's a lot of people going back to the old ways of just pirating content because, well, it's been a big ol' headache, a huge nuisance to just actually get things through the proper channels. With more streaming services popping up than there are grains of sand on the beach, as well as this huge push into not owning anything where you basically pay for the idea of a product. You pay for like the whiff of it. You get a permission slip, an admission ticket that can be revoked at any time to it. So you're just paying to rent basically everything. And a lot of people don't find that appealing for obvious reasons because you don't actually have anything there besides an imaginary friend. And so a lot of people turn to pirating it because they at least get to own that content. And in some cases, it's a more complete product with how widespread censorship is becoming, where they're just taking whole episodes of shows off streaming platforms. Not just individual episodes, sometimes entire shows just get fucking banished to the shadow realm. It's despicable. Anyway, though, I've yapped about many of the reasons endlessly for a while now, but point is, piracy has become the new hotness again. For a while, it kind of fell to the wayside and became a bit of a lost art. You didn't really hear a whole lot about piracy other than, like, Davy Jones bought one of his sailors a new BBL and now he's letting the boys clap cheeks on the deck or something, right? Like, you wouldn't really hear about this kind of piracy that often. But over the last couple years, it's been a huge point of discussion again, to the point now that the FBI is taking down ROM sites. They've seized multiple domains where they claim 3.2 million downloads had occurred over the last 3 months, resulting in like $170 million worth of loss to Nintendo. And Nintendo can't sleep at night knowing that these menaces are out there, so the FBI, being the heroes they are with their priorities straight, took down multiple ROM sites here. Apparently this is what it looks like when you try and use one of those sites. Reminds me of that shit they used to play in the beginning of a VHS tape about, like, the FBI warning. If you watch this on the unofficial channels as this is a pirated copy, mister, you'll face $250,000 and 250 years in jail, you fucking criminal scum. That kind of shit from back in the day. So it's almost kind of, like, nostalgic seeing that. But really, is this, like, the most important thing the FBI could be tackling? Fucking switch ROMs? Like, come on. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm a little doubtful on the claim about $170 million worth of loss over the last few months. That sounds like some kind of baloney. That is some horseradish if I've ever heard some. That's like me saying I lost 5 inches of height because I didn't drink enough milk when I was growing up. Like, I guess maybe it's somewhat possible, but it's pretty unlikely. My point with this yappuccino here is piracy is big again. And not only are, like, authorities getting involved in trying to combat it, of course DRM's been a debate topic for a long time with how games are trying to stop people from cracking them and pirating their games, that kind of thing. Pretty much everything has anti-piracy measures in place now, and it's become just a broadly spoken about and a sector that a lot of people are investing in to try and stop piracy. But the reason I wanted to talk about this today is I saw something that kind of bucks this trend, where one solution to piracy is one that I happen to think is a really good idea, and one I've talked about and even used myself in a different capacity. I'm sure a lot of you have heard me mention this over the years in regards to our comic book series Godslap, where I'd be asked on stream where people could go read it or buy it. And I'd mentioned where you could buy it if you wanted to, but if you were, like, skeptical, kind of on the fence about whether or not you'd even like Godslap in the first place, well, hold on to your clams. Instead, just go pirate it. There are numerous websites that have uploaded our comics entirely for free. I would much rather you go pirate it to make sure it's something you like, instead of spending money on it and then finding out you fucking hate it or something. Because at least then, it was free. No harm, no foul, you didn't like it, is what it is. Sometimes it's just the way the cookie crumbles. And my philosophy's always been that if people really like it, maybe they like it so much that they would then go buy a physical copy of Godslap or something, or support the upcoming releases, that kind of thing. So I've always liked that approach, but I don't see it utilized all that often. But today, Freddy Wong, one of the OG greats of YouTube, posted something, well, I don't know if he posted it today, but I saw it today, posted something very interesting in how he's handling piracy with his new movie.
I have waited my entire film career to be able to pull this move. This is our movie. It just came out today for digital download or rentals. I'm also putting it up on the torrent networks, but I've added something to the very beginning.
Ahoy, matey! I'm Freddy Wong, and you're about to watch a pirated copy of We're All Gonna Die that I made. For in this day and age, it's impossible to prevent piracy, so if you can't beat them, join them. What you're about to watch is encoded off of the original 4K 10-bit 5.1 master files that we had made for the movie. So please, enjoy. And afterwards, if you're feeling like maybe throwing a little bit of lucre our way so that we can continue making movies, you can do so at ipiratedwe'reallgonadie.com. Thanks. Enjoy the movie.
Pay what you want for this JPEG.
I love shit like this. This isn't the first of its kind, but it is pretty novel. This is something very rare to see. Freddy is a YouTube legend, and Rocket Jump has this new film that's just been released on digital platforms, and instead of trying to come up with like DRM or some kind of tactics to beat pirates, he decided instead to just supply them with the best possible version of the film. He's dropping the goddamn IMAX version here with the Dolby surround sound, like the bells and whistles here, making sure that if someone is going to pirate his movie, they get the best possible experience with it. And if they really like the movie and they feel so inclined, maybe they toss him some money afterwards. I've always appreciated that approach to it. I've seen a couple of games do it over the years, and this is probably like one of the very few times I've seen a movie do it, but I think it is strong because the truth is you are not going to beat piracy. If someone wants to download your film, if someone is trying to get your product for free, they're going to find a way. They're going to get it. Even the most brutal, cutthroat DRM that is so extreme that it sometimes ruins the actual game experience for everyone else who even pays for it because the DRM is just that hostile, even that gets cracked. Granted, it takes some time, but even that gets eventually broken into. The Fort Knox, it eventually loses its gold there. And I recognize that an approach like this doesn't scale infinitely. Like, this isn't going to be viable for like the biggest corporations in the world and different sizes. It doesn't make sense. I get that. But in a lot of cases, it does make sense. Because even if you lose out on a sale, like someone that was very curious about your product but didn't want to pay for it and then tries it, well, maybe they like it and then you lost a sale, but you gained a fan who might become a paying fan down the line. And doing something like this garners a lot of goodwill, and there have been cases that have historically showed doing something like this does actually translate to more sales because people appreciate the notion of, here's my art, I know that people are going to pirate it, so I'd like you to at least have the best version of it, so that way you can experience it and maybe enjoy it and maybe come back around and down the line pay for, the next thing, or even pay for this if you really felt so strongly about, how much you appreciated it. I think it is a great move. And I just wanted to talk about this a little bit today because I just thought it was really a nice gesture here. And I've seen a lot of support for his movie now as a result of this move. There was also a lot of people very excited for the movie in the first place. So I really think that this was just a net positive overall. Even if there's 1,000 people that watch this movie for free with no intention of ever spending a dime on it, well, maybe a good chunk of those people become fans of this production and will support the upcoming ones. I just really think, overall, what Freddy did here was a great move, and I really appreciated it. And I just wanted to kind of highlight this because with how big the resurgence of piracy is looking to be, it is nice to see someone come forward and buck the trend that everyone seems to be following with, like, cutthroat legal action at all times against piracy, and we're going to find ways to fuck up our products just in the slim chance that we can prevent a little bit of piracy on it, you know what I mean? So anyway, that's really about it. So yeah.